Mike, can I ask you a very small favour? Because Mark's just kindly agreed to do a very short interview for Hospital Radio.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I was going to touch on the subject, if I could, just while you're here, about the Love Hope Foundation.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Can I ask you just a brief bit about it?
Of course you can, yeah.
What exactly is the story behind the foundation, Mike? What does it involve? How can people get in touch with it?
Well, come to the website lovehopestrength.co.uk or .org.
Right.
It's our global site, and it's a cancer charity based on. Started out my own battles with cancer twice in my life, and I wanted to try and even the balance in the battle against cancer. So, because I had fantastic treatment in Wales where I lived, by just walking into the NHS, and then I got advice to look for second opinions, and by going to Dallas, meeting the best leukemia guys in the world, and going to London to meet the best guys in Britain, I found that I'd really got the best treatment right where I lived. So.
And you're thankfully now in full recovery, Mike.
Well, I have an incurable, a chronic illness.
Is it lymph cancer? Right?
It's leukemia, yeah, and blood cancer. So I was diagnosed with lymphoma in '96, and I came through that, and then 2000 I was re-diagnosed with leukemia, and then
now we play our final hand, moving closer, understand. This time like never before, only the Black Queen scores. A card so high and so wild, you should burn it.
So to me it was just evening up the balance. So we do a lot of work in third world countries, trying to give them what we have in the West if we can. And when we climbed Kilimanjaro or Everest, we were supporting cancer centres in the third world area. So when we were from the summit of the mountain, you could see the space below that we were going to build a cancer in Tanzania. I'm going back after we play our last date this January with Big Country at the Alarms Gathering in January. I'm flying out pretty much straight after to go to Tanzania to open the cancer centre that we built in Tanzania. So it's
that's a fabulous project.
Yeah, it's I'm lucky to be alive through hospitals like we have in Britain.
Yes,
so,
it's true.
And and the inspiration came from all the staff working in the hospitals who fought to keep me alive and give me a chance, because I had one diagnosis that said if I wanted to see my kids I should have a transplant straight away.
Sure.
And that was in London, and it really frightened me, but when I got further advice, basically my doctor said, look, we've got to balance your treatment with your life, and I thought that was so great, so we could hit you with a big hammer but you lose 2 years out of your life, and so why do that now when you get such a great response to the treatment, and you've got your kids and another one coming along? Why disrupt that? Let's let you live your life while you're young and fit and healthy. And I thought it was really good because it was care in treatment rather than just treatment for treatment's sake, just to get the numbers down. The doctors almost putting me off treatment and said, look, let's just live and see how it goes, and we'll balance it with you as a person. And I thought that was really amazing, and so that was the beginning of the charity Love Hope Strength.
Well, that's nice, mate. I mean, for people listening on Hospital Radio, it's another reference point for them. Particularly, obviously, it's going to be, the profile will be raised with yourself.
400 miles without a word until you smile. 400 miles on fields of fire.
Yeah, well, I, my first cancer battle I kept quiet because I didn't know. I actually turned down the treatment and went on tour instead, and decided to have it when I'd finished the tour because I didn't want it to impact on anyone. And I was treated there through. Well, I went to see a faith healer, and I I went into a spontaneous remission really, and I started wearing combat fatigues everywhere I went as a symbol of me going to war in my head, and because I wasn't telling anybody because I didn't want anyone to worry. I didn't even tell my mother because I knew she'd go mad if I knew I was going to America with cancer hanging over my head. But I thought it was such a negative move to cancel school. It was just instinct. I had no reason for it. It was just instinct, and then when I went to remission, when I came back off the tour, I was able to tell people after the fact, but it didn't seem as shocking as the second time when I was really very ill, lucky to be alive on the day I was diagnosed, and I had instant treatment, and I had to go public because I knew people would see me walking in the centre, and when I was first diagnosed, I didn't even have a cancer centre in North Wales, but the second treatment, I walked into the North Wales Cancer Treatment Centre, and I knew it was going to set bells ringing in the town, and family and my friends and the press and everything, so I wrote the story on the internet, and then it just went bang from there.
You don't have much choice.
Well, no, because
like
the co-founder...
You're in a difficult position, right, doesn't it?
Yeah. But again, you always hear stories of people knocking the NHS and everything, but you can knock everything. Everything has a weak point. Everything in life. But the other thing with our charity is we wanted to tell people's goodwill, success stories, and give them inspiration. Because when I got home from my first day of treatment, I just went straight on the net and looked up leukemia, and I wanted to know about somebody who'd been through it and survived, and that was, I couldn't find it really, so that was part of the inspiration of setting up Love, Hope, Strength. So when people go searching through the word cancer, they find something that's upbeat and gives them love and hope and strength to help, because you need all those things as much as medicine to fight the battle.
Well, that is such a fabulous, uplifting story, Mike. Thanks for sharing it with us and the listeners in hospital. Just once again, please, the website address for anybody who'd like to visit it.
Yes, lovehopestrength.co.uk.
Fantastic. And just on a lighter note, I was at Glasgow on New Year's Eve. The guys took to you immediately, my friend.
You think so?
Yeah, you know them. It's like you were made for it. It's a fabulous night.
Well, I'm a massive fan. Well, thank you very much. That means a lot to me, especially in his hometown.
Yeah.
And the guy meant a lot to me. So him and the band stood by the alarm when we needed help.
Yeah,
as well.
I always felt there was like some crossover between. A lot of mutual respect between me and the alarm.
Well, in 2000, when bands of our generation were being sort of ignored, they gave us a chance. They let us open on their whole tour, and they still had a massive audience, whereas we were, they were a band that had stayed pretty much intact, whereas we were a band that had sort of gone through a few disintegrations and change of lineups, and people that can really kill bands, but Big Country said, no, Mike's still there, we believe in it, and they gave us a chance, and I was really forever grateful for that. And Stuart and the band were great to me I met Stuart in 1982 for the first time, so I've known him a long time, and I still feel like I'm getting to know him even now. I don't feel like he's gone, and it's strange.
It is a weird feeling.
Because his music has always been a part of my life, and so luckily we have that. The way I look at it is we're lucky to have that.
Yeah, that's
of
true.
him, and the friendships that he inspired, and the friendships that him and his music helped to create are still alive, and I think that's really, that's what I prefer to think, how I like to think of the guy.
That's right. Well, listen, Mike, thanks again for your time.
Thanks very much.
Very happy New Year to you.
Well, yeah.
Best of luck with the rest
of the tour. We didn't know with ours, you say, Wales.
It's going to be a huge success.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure. Next, please, Doctor.
Next,
But I will show you how to live like no one can define it. So look away, look away. Wipe your eyes from the line where I lay go. Look away, from the lies and the stories that were told. Look away, from the love that I hide way down deep in my soul.
Thanks, well, I'm sorry, I hope you don't mind, but I just wanted to catch Mike about the Love, Hope, Strength Foundation.
No, absolutely.
With this being for hospital radio, it's kind of relevant to a lot of the people in hospital.
I'm sorry, I kept you waiting.
No, not at all. Right, here we go. It's not too long. You're okay for about 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah, I'm here now.
Brilliant. Well, firstly, a happy New Year, and thanks for tuning in to Hospital Radio Burnley. I'm Ian Tunnacliffe, and it's my privilege to begin 2011 in the company of the drummer with a band who have recorded no fewer than 13 top 30 singles, 7 top 30 albums. Currently celebrating their 30th anniversary. It's a big welcome to Brzezicki from Big Country. Happy New Year, Mark.
Happy New Year to you. Very nice to be
sir.
here.
All the very
nice to be here.
Or should I have said Szczęśliwego Nowego
No,
Roku?
I don't really speak much Polish.
Thank goodness for that. I had an awful feeling we're going to be conducting the whole of this interview in Polish.
I'm
which is
actually
down.
English, but
Yes,
my father came over in the war.
He's a war veteran, wasn't
Yeah,
he?
in the Polish Air Force. He came over in the 303 Squadron. He's a Merlin engine specialist. And, that's what happened.
Well, thank goodness for that. I don't
Yeah.
think I'd have caught with the whole interview in Polish. That was
Me
hard
neither.
enough. Mark, can I just ask you firstly to run through the current lineup, the current Big Country lineup for us, please?
Yeah, we've got Mike Peters on lead vocals.
Yes.
And we've got Bruce and Jamie Watson playing guitar, which is Bruce's son, and Tony Butler on bass, very dear, an old friend of mine from way back, and myself on drums.
Yourself. Just on the Bruce and Jamie thing, I was trying to think if there had been any other father-son relationships actually in a band. I can't think of them, can you?
Probably not father and son. I know. Well, there was not in the same time. There's been like Jason Bonham replacing John Bonham,
that's true.
but they're no longer. His father's no longer here. But from my sort of history and people that I know, not quite the same.
Is there?
Well, no, there's a similarity, but it's not father and son. There's brothers. There's like Simon Townsend plays in the Who with his brother Pete.
Yeah.
So there's two Townsends
in the Kinks.
Yeah, but father and son is most unusual.
Yeah, it's a weird one.
Yeah.
I hope Jamie realises how lucky he is to have a dad, with a musical background. My old dad was not musical at all. He used to say that he was going to learn to play guitar and make a fortune and go out as a Buddy Holly tribute act, and my old mum used to say, yeah, that'll be the day.
Good one, I like that.
And through the days, the travel came, small and twisted, and his face was plain. He said, love them all that you need when your heart is small. Love them all. You're gonna find them when they fall.
I've got written here, Mark, that on New Year's Eve, in front of a sellout show at Glasgow's O2 Academy, former Alarm frontman Mike Peters stepped bravely into the shoes left empty since the passing of much loved and dearly missed Big Country legend Stuart Adamson in 2001. A nation held its breath. How did he do?
Oh, he did remarkably well. I mean, he's a very, very talented man himself and a singer-songwriter in his own right. And we didn't audition anyone. We asked if he would do it, as we all felt he was the right man for the job.
Wasn't he just?
And certainly is. There's a lot of threads regarding having Mike in the band. He's been pretty a good friend to Stuart over the years. He's been on stage with us a few times, Mike has. In fact, he met Stuart Adamson apparently when Stuart went out into the crowd in the early days. He actually met Mike at that situation.
Wow, I didn't realise that.
Yeah. And rumour has it, I think Mike's going out in the crowd to repay that compliment back as it's the home of Stuart. So
what a nice touch.
Yeah, that's. I'm not supposed to tell you that, but you might as well.
That's fabulous. I look forward to seeing that.
And we have had the Alarm and Big Country play together over the years. I've done a double header. I stepped in for the Alarm myself with Big Country when the Alarm was supporting Big Country and the drummer wasn't able to do it. So I played for the Alarm at I think it was the Hammersmith Odeon.
Yeah.
On 3 shows I did the Alarm and Big Country. So we have known each other for a while, and we're connected spiritually with the kind of music that we play.
Yeah, I think from a fan base point of view, there's always always a sort of mutual respect.
Well, there was
between
always
Big
in the
Country and
80s
Alarm
particularly.
fans.
There was always like U2, Simple Minds. No particular order here, although U2 are the biggest. But U2, Simple Minds, Big Country and the Alarm. And they were always grouped together.
Yeah.
People always group bands together, and that's kind of how we were pigeonholed. So in a way, that's been good because we are similar in lots of ways, particularly with what the band, the real music and the spirited music and them.
Who saw the fences falling? Who broke the ploughman's bread? Who heard the winter calling? Who tore the tailor's thread? How many sheets were counted? How did the carriage shine? How many thoughts were doubted? How did the landlord die? Just as you saw, you said.
touched on Stuart there. I think he would have been very proud of the performance in Glasgow on New Year's Eve.
Well, yeah, I mean, he would always want us. He would always want us to do it. You know, he was very, very enthusiastic about his music. I mean, incredibly so, and was always very encouraging. You know, with me as a drummer as well. I mean, I play in a unique style with this band, and you know, as well as the producer allowing that to happen, it really was, you know, Stuart being the leader of the band and his band really with Bruce, that they allowed me to develop my own unique style within the band. A lot of bands would normally curtail. They would normally say, keep it simple, do this, do that, play like this, we've already got a demo, copy it. Whereas if it was like, we like what you're doing, we'll have more of it, you know. And it kind of allowed the freedom that I have. Yeah, it did allow me to, Stuart particularly was very encouraging with my sort of ideas as a drummer, and you know, to contribute to the songs with a lot of drumming is quite unusual, and I suppose Big Country's kind of known for the drums and the guitars, you know, which a lot of bands aren't, so I'm very grateful of that, and you know, I know he would be looking down, encouraging us every step of the way. So
I'm sure he would.
Absolutely.
Mark, now that I'd say you have a unit here perfectly capable of doing justice to the huge Big Country back catalogue live, is there any possibility that you might consider recording new material together?
We haven't talked about that, but I think it's something that you don't really discuss. I think this is sticking our toe in the water at the moment. I mean, I'm hoping it will move on and grow and develop, and we all feel it will. But
I can see every reason why.
Yeah,
it should.
there's lots of reasons why it should, and should that happen, which you know, we're into our second gig tonight, not even played, and should that want to continue, which I'm sure it will. It is a natural thing to say, well, hang on, let's look at some new ideas, and particularly get Mike in the studio and recording with us. So we've got a different contribution there as well, so that should be exciting.
Yeah, early days, but
with Jamie as well. You know, we've got great. The twin guitar is back because, you know, we tried it on our own as a three-piece in 2007, and it was great. We wrote some new songs and very pleased with them. They are very Big Country in their style. We all had a chance to sing a bit as well.
This was the album 25/5, yes?
Yeah, and the only thing for me, you know, in the studio you can put down as many guitars as you like, but live, Big Country was always about the twin guitar, the twin guitar attack, you know, call it what you want, but you know, it has got that Celtic sound, and it has got that kind of Thin Lizzy guitar, twin lead soloing that happens, which is still now. Now James is in the band with Bruce.
Yeah.
They've really traded off as father and son incredibly well in that respect.
I was watching, would it ever be there for me? And I found that hope in a lucky card, were all I had to walk with me. To walk with
Well, come to the live thing, Mark, with a vast array of songs to choose from now. It must be a nightmare choosing the set list for the live shows.
Not really, no. It's chosen by the work involved at this stage. I'm being very honest about it. It's really down to Bruce and Jamie to choose the set list, because they're having to work up some very complicated guitar lines that Stuart used to play.
Okay.
And so it really is between Bruce and Jamie to see how they can get those things worked out. I mean, me and Tony can play any song you want within reason, you know, just a little refresh and we can play them, but to have it as a collectiveness, it's going to be down to Bruce and also Mike choosing songs as well, you know, we've got to sing them. But I think from the nuts and bolts of it, I think the logic says it will be down to Bruce and Jamie to actually work out those integral parts, and then that would set the tone for what songs we do. Sure. It's in that order, really. Yeah. But they have dipped into a nice eclectic, you know, songs across a few albums. So we're doing stuff we haven't played for a long time, like the Storm.
So people coming out to see the band in the new year can expect a pretty good mix of stuff from across the albums.
Yeah, and it will change and it will grow. And I think we're talking about swapping the set around sometimes, you know, but adding songs and trying to keep it fresh rather than it always be the same song we start with. I think, you know, perhaps next April when we're out again, we'll change the set list each day. We're talking of that. Whether it happens or not, watch this space. But there is talking about playing with the set list.
Sure.
I know there's a few favourites that I'm plumbing for. I want to do Close Action, some really old stuff. close action, and I'd love to play the actual title track of the album, The Crossing.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed playing that. We only ever played it once, I think, live, but it would be a treat to do it at some. Yeah, you know. So you never know. It's all up for grabs now. So
sure. I'll go through the tour dates before we close, Mark. Just in the meantime, just on a lighter note, apparently you can't have New Year, Mark, without a traditional New Year quiz. So today's
I'm not good at quizzes, but go for it.
Today's mini quiz,
Yeah.
just for you, is entitled "Whose Middle Name?"
Oh, man.
Mark, we're about to find out just how much you know about your fellow
very
band
little
members.
Teacher, will you show to me the bond between the land and sea? I am new to this story. I want everything laid out for me. All our history, all our history. Yeah!
I'm going to give you 3 middle names, quite simply. All you have to do is reveal which one belongs to who. Now, no pressure, there is a small prize for the band, but only if you get all 3 correct. So good luck, here's your 3. Which current member of Big Country then has the middle name William?
Current member?
Yeah. They're all current members, I should add. I know Stuart's first name.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, that's why I said current. That threw the little sideball there. William, I was going to say Mike Peters, but I think I'll defer and go.
I would.
Yeah, I'd stay with Mike Peters.
No, I would defer.
No. All right. I know you gave me a little get out there. Simplify. You've simplified. I would go for Jamie.
Do you know, I don't know if Jamie has a middle name.
Oh,
you're in the right family.
Oh, well, it's Bruce then.
It is Bruce, well done.
I mean, we got there, but
I knew you'd get that. Yeah. Alright, 2 out of 3. Which current member of Big Country then has the middle name Earl?
Oh, that's Tony.
Tony, it has to be.
Yeah,
it has to be an Earl.
Earl Butler. Winston is his other name. Anthony
I didn't know
Winston Butler, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a triple quad name.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
That sounds about right. And finally then...
I don't have a middle name. It says Michael, but I don't have a
read
middle
Michael
name.
Somewhere.
Yeah, that was my confirmation name, being a good Catholic boy, you see. Only confirmed, I don't have a middle name.
Where do people get these things from?
Somebody mentioned it, what's your confirmation name? And because it was Michael Brzezicki, and it's like, that's my middle name, I've never had a middle name.
Well, congratulations, you've just
I've
inherited one.
just inherited one, yeah.
And finally then, the third one, Leslie.
Oh.
Now then.
No, it's got to be Mike.
It is, yes, it's the Prince of Prestatyn himself.
Yeah,
Leslie's
it's only because I didn't know who else it could be, but we got there.
You did, sort of. There's a tiebreaker then, just because we cheated a little bit. Who's the only Scottish-born member of Big Country?
Scottish-born? No one.
Jamie?
I didn't know we were including him because we said about the middle names. You said no, Jamie. Did we not? Oh, well, Jamie, obviously, but if you're talking about it would be Jamie. Otherwise, nobody was.
Oh, my James, they didn't have to do this. Oh, my James, they didn't have to do this.
And 2 flies in an airing cupboard. Which one is Scottish? 2 flies in an airing cupboard. Which one is Scottish? Well, that would be the one on the pipes.
Oh, I was going to say the one on. No.
Listen, before I get kicked out of here, let me just finally run through the Big Country tour dates, which continue through January. Tonight we're in Dunfermline. Tomorrow night, the 3rd, I think it's the Lemon Tree in Aberdeen. The 5th, Newcastle. The 6th of January in Islington. The 7th of January in Birmingham. And the 8th in Liverpool. Mark, I notice on the 7th and 8th, special guests on those 2 nights are Thunderclap Newman. Please tell me you're not playing drums for 2 bands on one night.
I sing lead vocals for Thunderclap Newman.
Right.
I put the band together about a year ago. And we've been doing small gigs, we've recorded a live album, we're doing some really rare songs from Speedy King's solo album. 2 members died in that band. Speedy King, the singer-songwriter, drummer, died.
Yeah.
And Jimmy McCulloch, who went on to play with Wings, Scottish guitarist, he died in, I think it was 2006 years. No, he died at the age of 26.
Wow.
He was in Tunnacliffe New at the age of 15. Died at the age of, yeah. It was his brother Jack played the drums. Pete Townsend produced it, put the whole band together and played bass under a pseudonym. And I had a chance. I was going to musical direct them, and it worked out that they needed a whole new band. And Andy asked me if I could sing. And a lot of the vocals are done in falsetto, quite high, and I do a lot of high stuff in big country. So
you were the man for the job.
It kind of suited my. Yeah, it was always meant to be the singer, Speedy Keen, the original singer who died, didn't sing and play drums live. He couldn't do it, so he played guitar live.
Right. Okay.
But as he just strummed, he didn't really play lead. Jimmy did all that stuff. So Jimmy's brother Jack played the drums live. So it was intended to be a sung vocal from the drums, and he very rarely toured because of that. They couldn't really. He didn't tour much. So we're doing one album. We're doing the Hollywood Dream album back to back, including Something in the Air, which was number one.
And vocals.
Myself and vocals. We got the thread there is that we have Pete Townsend's nephew, Josh Townsend, Simon Townsend's son, playing guitar with us, who's my godson, who's 21. And in that band we have a member from each decade. It's a 5-piece band, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s and 60s.
No way.
Yeah, very unique. So looking forward to that.
Stuff. Yeah.
I wouldn't want to go home on a night like this, when I find out that some of the past has been missed, and the light in the window is burning fuse. I put everything inwards, but everything's new. Everything inwards, but everything's new. Everything inwards, but everything's new.
2 gigs you've got to get along to if you can. That's the 7th in Birmingham, the 8th in Liverpool. The guys then take a couple of months doing their own things until Big Country are back on the road in April, mostly with gigs in England and in Ireland. I just run through those for you. They'll be playing Portsmouth, Manchester, which for listeners of Hospital Radio Burnley will be your nearest Big Country show. That's on Saturday the 9th of April. Be there, do not miss it. And the rest of the tour takes in Oxford, Cambridge, Norwich, Bristol, London, Leeds, Sheffield, Dublin and Belfast. Tickets through the usual outlets, but better still, why not log on to www.bigcountry.co.uk, because you don't pay the booking fees there, Mark.
Good idea. I've got one thing to add, is when we between April, I'm actually out around the country again with Bruce Foxton with From the Jam.
From the Jam?
Yeah,
which is a jam tribute band.
It's not a tribute,
well, that's
really.
Not a fair thing to say, is it?
Well, no, it's a strange dichotomy in the fact that it's not a tribute band. It's an amalgamation from Russell Hastings, who was in a tribute band, very Paul Weller sound alike, until Rick Buckler and Bruce Foxton got involved. Then it was 2 members of the Jam with a sound alike singer. So it wasn't really a tribute, but there was a political thing with Rick Butler I know nothing about. He's a very nice guy, as it happens, and something didn't work out with Rick, and I got a call a year ago to come and do some shows that were imminent, and I've kind of stayed with them ever since. We're doing new material and everything, so it's pretty much its own band, From the Jam. It's like the nearest you'll get to hear the Jam played.
Yes.
And obviously I'm guesting from Big Country, but I'm also involved in the writing process.
Again, the connection, because you support.
We support the Jam. Yeah, when they were on their way out in '82, which was devastating because we're all big Jam fans. We supported them, I think, 6 nights at Wembley Arena.
Yeah.
When they were on their farewell tour. So, and I worked with Bruce Foxton and Bruce Watson when we had a band in between Big Country's activity called the Casbah Club, where we toured.
Yes.
So we worked together then with Bruce Foxton on bass. So we're all friends, it's all one big orchestra really. But
so that's even more tour dates to keep a look out for. Is that in March?
Yeah, there's some all over the place. There's generally every month there's something around the country. So anyway, I thought I'd say that because I'm keeping myself
Why
on
not?
tour.
Why not?
Yeah.
We have a lot of strangely, strange is not the right word, but we do get a lot of listeners asking for Big Country stuff all these years down the line. So I know that they will want to know that.
Give us road. Give us cider. Give us road. Road.
You know, one thing that, from all the information you have very kindly given the Hospital Radio listeners, Mark, one question begs, do you ever go to sleep?
I do, yeah. I get, you know, to be honest with you, I do a lot of work. I mean, it tends to be seasonal, and it tends to be if my phone gets busy, it gets really busy. Otherwise, there's periods of it not ringing, you know, and that can be frightening. So I take work when I can because I still earn my living as a drummer, which is something I'm very grateful for, you know.
Well, which we are very grateful for too. In closing, ladies and gentlemen, big music, big hearts, big respect, big thanks, big country.
Oh, lovely.
To Mark and the rest of the guys, happy 30th anniversary.
Thank you very much. It's much appreciated.
Thank you very much, sir, and good luck for the rest of the tour.
And yourself.
It's the